One.
Today I am going to deliver a lecture on the connective tissues. Under that one, we are discussing about the fluid connective tissue. So, what are connective tissues? What are connective tissues? The connective tissues are the most abundant, widely distributed connective tissues which are present in the body of higher animals. These tissues are also called as connective tissues. The main function of these connective tissues are binding and supporting to the tissues and binding and supporting to the other tissues and organs which are also present in our body. These connective tissues which are also mesodermal in origin. The connective tissues are majorly composed of the cells and extracellular matrix. Most abundant, widely distributed tissues which are present in the body of higher animals. Major function is binding and supporting. Supporting to other tissues and organs. So these connective tissues during the embryonic stage they also form from mesoderm. So mesodermal in origin. The connective tissues composed of they also consisting of cells and extracellular matrix. The extracellular matrix. What is the meaning of extracellular matrix? Matrix is the material which is present outside of the cells. Matrix is the material which is present outside of the cells. Now the extracellular matrix, it has the two components. One is called ground substance, and the second one is called fibers. Ground substance and fibers. So ground substance and fibers. Normally the ground substance is also composed of consisting of mostly that is water, polysaccharides and also proteins. Next, coming to the fibers. In connective tissues, there are the different type of fibers they also present. What are the different type of fibers which are present in the connective tissue? The fibers which are present in the connective tissue are mostly first one is collagen fibers, and also second one is elastic fibers, and third one is reticular fibers. The collagen fibers, they are also made up of a protein called collagen. These collagen fibers, they also in tissues, connective tissues, they also arranged in the form of bundles. These fibers are stretch resistant.
Sound rise.
Next,
Sound.
coming to the elastic fibers. These elastic fibers, they are also made up of a protein called elastin. These fibers are branched and they form a network. And the reticular fibers, they are also made up of a protein called collagen. So they are thin. They are also made up of a protein called collagen. These reticular fibers, they also form a network. And these reticular fibers, they are also giving the support for secondary, primary and secondary lymphoid organs. Next, these elastic fibers, they are also present in elastic cartilage and it is present in elastic ligaments. Right. This is about the introduction about the connective tissues. So again the connective tissues. Now the connective tissues are broadly classified. Connective tissues are broadly classified into three types based upon the extracellular matrix and cell types. Based upon extracellular matrix and cell types. The connective tissues are broadly classified into three types. One is called connective tissue proper. And second one is skeletal tissue. And the third one, the fluid connective tissue. Connective tissue proper again divided into two types. It is divided into two types. One is loose connective tissue. And also dense connective tissue. Loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. Loose connective tissue, again it is divided into two types. Again it is divided into three types. One is called areolar connective tissue. And adipose tissue. And third one is reticular tissue. Next, so dense connective tissue again divided into two types: dense regular, and dense irregular. means irregular. Next, coming to the skeletal tissue, again it is the two tissues which also comes under the skeletal tissue. One is bone and second one is called cartilage. Coming to the fluid connective tissue, our major topic is the fluid connective tissue. This is about all the introduction about the connective tissues. Now we also enter into our major topic, that is fluid connective tissue. That is fluid connective tissue. The fluid connective tissue consisting of fiber-free liquid matrix. It consisting of fiber-free liquid matrix. Fiber-free liquid matrix and the living cells. The living cells, they do not produce. The living cells, they do not produce matrix. The fluid connective tissue includes one is blood and the second component is lymph. Blood and lymph. These are the fluid connective tissue includes blood and lymph. Coming to the blood. Blood is red in color, opaque and slightly alkaline fluid. The study of blood is also known as hematology. Blood has the two components. Blood has the two major components. One is called plasma. And the second component is also consisting of formed elements. Next, coming to the plasma. Plasma is the liquid matrix of the blood. The liquid matrix of the blood is also known as plasma. Normally the plasma, it also occupies the 55% in the volume of the blood. The plasma occupies 55% in the volume of the blood. And the 45%, the remaining 45% in the volume of the blood, occupied by formed elements. That means in the total volume of the blood, the plasma occupies 55% and the formed elements they also occupied in the volume of the blood by 45%. Suppose if you take the sample of the blood, they also taken in the test tube. Blood sample, you take some amount of blood sample in the test tube.
Sound.
You also take some amount of volume of blood in the test. So if you take some amount of blood sample taken into the test tube. In you can also allow it for centrifugation. You can also allow it for centrifugation. Majorly centrifugation. On centrifugation, the blood cells they also formed at the bottom of the test tube. At the bottom of the test tube, and the liquid fluid that is called plasma, they also formed on the top of the test tube. Plasma they also formed on the top of the test tubes. Initially in the blood cells, RBC they also formed at the bottom, and WBC cells they also formed RBC and WBC. RBC cells they also present at the bottom, and above the RBC cells, the WBC cells they also form. On the top of the WBC cells, the plasma is formed on centrifugation. Next, so the percentage of volume of the blood that is occupied by RBC, the percentage of volume of the blood is occupied by RBC is known as the percentage of volume of the blood occupied by RBC is also known as hematocrit value.